Let's get started. So first and foremost, I want to thank everybody for joining us today on another one of our Friday webinar series, 20-minute webinar series. This one's going to go, a couple minutes long, 1 or 2 minutes long, just because of the videos that we're going to be showing. The host today is Josh Frank. Josh is our regional sales manager guru down in the Southeast. And the way this goes basically is we're going to show a 5-minute video. Over to Josh for some PowerPoint presentation. He kind of goes through some points and some tips and things like that, and then we open it up to questions. If you guys have not used Zoom before, if you move your mouse around, you'll see either a chat box and or a question box, and you can shoot us some questions, and we'll try to get to these questions at the end. And hopefully this will be over in 20, 22 minutes. And with that, I'm going to share my screen with the video, and let's start with that. Bear with me.
HyperTone stains are an incredibly versatile product that enable you to change the color of and tone wood floors in a variety of ways. In this video, we will show you a few different methods of using HyperTone stains. HyperTone stains can be used as a traditional wood floor stain with a richness, consistency, and depth of color not found in other stains. When compared to traditional solvent-based stains, HyperTone stains are low odor, easy to clean, and there are no concerns about spontaneous combustion and fires with discarded rags. In addition to these unique features, we are now extremely pleased to announce that HyperTone stains can be used as a tint additive in approved basic coatings water-based finishes. This new option changes the game and opens up all types of opportunities and solutions for wood flooring professionals, whether your projects are high-end residential, commercial, or sports floors. Imagine the benefits of adding HyperTone stain as a tint into your finish instead of having to use paint on your floors. When using HyperTone stains as a traditional wood flooring stain, prepare the floor using NWFA or MFMA guidelines. Vacuum and tack the floor to remove any dust or debris. As with most hardwood flooring stains, uniformly water popping is recommended to open the grain and allow more consistent, deeper, and richer color penetration. Since this product is a unique water-based formula, there is no need to wait for the floor to dry completely before beginning application of stain, but do not apply to flooring that has standing water or puddles. Apply stain directly to the floor using a roller in 3 to 4 foot strips, working across the floor with the grain. Use thick terry cloth rags to remove excess stain and blend to a uniform appearance. Once application of stain is complete, wait 15 to 20 minutes. Then allow increased and balanced air movement and fresh air exchange to help dry the stain. Once the stain is dry, apply an appropriate basic coating, sealer, and finish. Please refer to the Basic Coatings HyperTone Stain Technical Data Sheet and Hand Application video for complete information on this application method. You can use HyperTone stains to tint approved Basic Coatings water-based finishes for sand and finish work, as well as screen and recoat jobs. Prepare the floor using NWFA or MFMA guidelines for sanding and or screening. When using HyperTone stains as a tint, use only in specifically approved Basic Coatings water-based finishes. A complete list can be found in the HyperTone Stains Technical Bulletin. Wood flooring needs to have at least one coat of an approved Basic Coating sealer before applying tinted finish. Allow the sealer to dry per instructions on the label. The amount of stain you add to the finish will depend on the color and level of opacity you want to achieve. However, we do not recommend exceeding a 1 to 10 stain to finish ratio. This translates to a maximum of 12.8 ounces of stain to a gallon of finish. When tinting finish, mix each product separately according to label directions prior to combining. Then combine the products by pouring into a container large enough to hold the materials. Then continue to blend with a stir stick until the products are mixed and uniform in color. Using a T-bar or trim pads will yield the best results. Avoid using a roller. Use care to apply the tinted finish in a uniform thickness. The initial coat of tinted finish can appear streaky. As you apply subsequent coats, the tinted finish should appear more uniform in color. 2 to 3 coats may be required to achieve the desired look. HyperTone stains are versatile enough to be used in place of paint for your sport flooring needs, including game lines. This is best accomplished using a professional-grade foam sleeve or paint pad. Apply HyperTone stains mixed with finish in a manner similar to paint. This includes abrading between coats, applying within 24 hours of a previous sealer or finish coat, and allowing adequate dry time before applying another coat on top. Coating procedures will vary based on the desired colors and opaqueness. However, most applications will likely require at least 2 coats. The benefits of using HyperTone stains to tint finish instead of using paints include the virtual elimination of color transfer when abrading, as well as the improved compatibility between coats, which reduces chipping and peeling. Important tips. Application of tinted finishes can be challenging. Therefore, prior to attempting on a real job site, it's strongly recommended you work on a test floor to become familiar with your application method. This will help ensure product satisfaction and prevent potential job site issues. Always use new applicators. The ratio of stain to finish is highly dependent on the desired color and look. It is important to abrade the sealer coat prior to applying tinted finish. Abrade the sealer so that the sealer coat is not shiny. It needs to be dull to achieve a proper bond. Turns and feathering out will show if not done properly. Avoid making turns when possible by going with the grain and pulling off onto masking material. Do not apply more than 2 water-based products in a single day. If you are interested in basic coatings, HyperTone stains, and all the ways they can be used, we are here to help. You can find more detailed application instructions on our website. Just go to the HyperTone Stains product page and click the HyperTone Stains Technical Bulletin in the Resources section. Or contact us directly at 1-800-441-1934, and we can put you in touch with a basic coatings product expert to help you with any questions about our system.
All right. So you got to hit that green share button, and then there you go. Coming up now. There we go. Perfect.
In our other webinars, previous webinars, we've discussed the HyperTone stain and the many uses of it as a stain on raw wood. But today we're going to cover the almost unlimited possibilities of using it as an additive in our finish. So we're going to start with sports and then hit some residential jobs, some different applications you can do residentially. And then we'll wrap up with some different concepts, some custom concepts that you might want to work into your toolbox. All right, if we can get to the second screen here. PowerPoint's being a pain. Okay, here we go. So we've got 14 colors. So that's all we need to pretty much hit any color, because the nice thing about the HyperTone stain is you can mix these together. And that's what we see here in this panel. So when we're looking at this panel, there's only 2 colors that are being used to create all of these different shades. So on the very far left there, you see our slate, which is a stock color. And then the second one from the right there is white, which is also our stock color. And so we've mixed those 2 colors to achieve everything else. So the one closest to the slate there is a 1-to-1 mix. Then we start adding more white, 1-to-2, 1-to-4, 1-to-8. Then that last gray one is 1 part slate, 16 parts white. Then you see our white, and then the next one on the right bottom corner there is just a little bit of white, like 1% white in a gallon of street shoe, just to give you that raw, just been sanded look on the floor. So again, all of those colors are achieved with just 2 of our stock colors. And a really nice addition this year to our lineup is now not only gallons, but now we have all of these stain colors, the HyperTone, available in pints. Makes it a lot easier to do these custom color mixes. All right, so we're going to start with how we can incorporate the HyperTone stains in our finish in the sports industry. So when we're doing this, we're achieving much more vibrant colors than we've ever seen before. And we're also eliminating a lot of problems. Usually any guy who has problems on a gym floor, it's over the paint. The finish is peeling, it's chipping. All the issues are usually over the paint. But now we can achieve these colors with the pigment in the finish, and we're not worried about the color fade that we've seen doing this other ways, like with tints and dyes. This is an automotive pigment, so it really maintains its color through its life. You don't come to a different color the next year. So you can create colors that are transparent, like this one. We've done multiple coats on this at a lighter mixture so that you see the end picture there, it looks like stain. Or you can take this to the extreme with opacity and mimic the exact look of paint. Here's a great example, a job we did with Praters. The floor was wore out. You saw the nail heads all over the floor, needed to be replaced. It did not have another sanding left in it, but the school couldn't afford to have a rip out and a new gym put in. So I said, well, let's try to fix this on a screen and recoat. So we did a 180 abrasion on the whole floor. And then we were going to give them that stained look, but I didn't want the stain to touch their paint. So you see all the plastic and tape laid out there. We gave a 3/4 inch reveal around their paint lines. And we also laid out a volleyball court for them. So the first picture there you see with 3% purple in the finish. The second picture was an hour later, another 3% coat of finish. And then they were pushing it even farther. They wanted a deeper purple. So we bumped it up to 5% for that third coat. Now here's something to keep in mind. Everything that happened on this page was in one day. So we went from abrading it to having 3 coats of tinted finish on there in one day. It was a long day, but we came back the next day, put 2 coats of gym shoe down on top of it. So you're looking at a 2-day project there before and after. I mean, what a facelift that floor had, and those little kids were so excited to see that. Now here's a video that actually is going to show you the process of exactly how to do that. Hit play on this. So we think about the logos like this, where the area has been masked off. You're going to pour your finish down. And then as you see him there, just spreading it around, getting the amount of finish he wants in that area. And you notice how the mastic also is run longer on the ends so that he can set his T-bar down and then also pull it off on the other end. So you get a really nice clean pull from one side to the other with no turns, no lap marks. This is really the way to do this. So get your product on, spread it around, and then come back and do one nice pull. Make sure you're always going with the grain when you end. All right, now let's do the math on this logo. So if you were going to put paint down to try and achieve this look, gym floor guys are usually looking at 1 color a day. They might have to do multiple coats, and then they can pull the mastic, put the mastic back on for the next color. So you count up how many colors are on this logo. The contractor's probably looking at about a week to accomplish something like this. Whereas with our products, and as fast as our finish dries, and then you can pull your mastic off, put mastic right back on finish that's only been down for a few hours, we were able to achieve this in just a day or 2. So we can really shave a lot of time off of a project like this and a logo. And then you can screen it, which I don't know if you've ever put a screen on paint on a gym floor before. It is scary, because if that paint is not completely dry, you move that red line several feet and it becomes pink, and then you're getting the sanders back out. But with this product being suspended in our finish, 2 hours later, we're getting a buffer on there, screening it, abrading it, applying another coat. It is so much more easier to do now. And then you look at the colors. Again, you're only limited by your imagination here of what color that you want to create for your customer. What I like about that top left-hand corner picture is that's the exact same color, that blue. It's just at different ratios. So when you're playing at a 2 to 3%, you get the lower blue where you can look through it. It's transparent. You can see all the maple below it. But you bump that up to 10% and you're looking at the darker blue in the border there. So there's just so many variables here, so many different options. Again, if you're trying to achieve that dark of a color, that look of paint, build it up to that. Start with a 2, 3%, and a 5, 6. Your last coat, let it be 10%. It'll make your application a lot easier. All right, so most of our initial work with this process and putting the tint in the finish was done on sports floors. So that's where we really perfected the techniques of this. But word started getting out. Contractors started getting wind of other things that we were doing and projects here. And once that gets out, there's no putting the genie back in the bottle. So we had residential contractors coming to us. Hey, can you help me out on this job? Here's two jobs that we were asked about. The guys have been sending me pictures on. Both of these jobs were our competitors' products. The one there on the top left, that was as white as they could get that floor with our competitors' products. And the one there in the middle top, that was as black as they could get that floor with our competitors' products. Both of these jobs were rejected by the customer. They said that floor is not white enough, and I wanted a lot darker black than that. So they called us, thankfully, before they resanded this floor, they called us and said, is there any way to save this? Both of these jobs, they added 5% of white on the one and black on the other, and a coat street shoe, screened it, recoated it, and you see there on the bottom two the results of that. So they were really glad they called us and were able to save all that. That white one was 5,000 square feet. So you can imagine how happy they were to just, all they had to do was recoat it and get paid. Here's another, I know this, I said this was going to be residential. This is a residence. Just got this one this week. I'm assuming that this guy lives alone, but it is a beautiful house. I love the herringbone there. There's just so much that you can do with this stain, and the stain is in the finish. Here's a pre-finished floor that was down. But again, sometimes you're on a pre-finished floor, you're looking at that top layer is so thin, you can't sand it. But you can come in there, do a screen, add some tint to your finish, and completely change it. Now, keep in mind, this requires a more subtle approach, right? It's a little bit more of a complicated application. And just know that any color you're putting in your finish will amplify. So if you have a turn mark in your T-bar, just make sure you come back and make sure every pass is with the grain to clean that up. You just have to be on your A game putting this down. We have found that this does not roll well. Once the pigment is suspended in the finish, don't use a roller. Use some type of a dragging method or pulling method, a cut-in pad, a T-bar, and make sure you're going with the grain. All right, let's look at some custom work. This next one is our floor guru, Mr. Tim Nathan, and he's going to make a floor really pop by adding color to a border. Glad Tim was able to capture all that on video. So you noticed, and here's another example of that, is you don't try to achieve all that color your first time out, your first coat. Try to build a couple coats to get there. This was a medallion I made this spring when we were all locked down. I learned something interesting here too. This was the same color at different ratios. It was tobacco. I was at 2% on the lighter color, and I think I was about 8% on the darker color. But I didn't have to mask off the darker color. So I applied that lighter color over that area of raw wood or sealed wood, and then also over the dark area, and the lighter color didn't affect the darker color. So that was a neat little trick I found on that one. And then here is a Celtic knot that I made. Again, all of this that we've been showing you is the color suspended in the finish, just like that maple panel there. It was sealed with 2 coats of sealer, and then all the action happened on top. This was last week at the NWFA class in Charlotte. There's Lenny Hall. He wanted 2 colors, the white and the slate. and then we mix those two for the gray square in the center. And this is something Lenny knocked out really quickly for the whole class. I think they were all wowed. Lenny really loves this stain. He does a lot of really cool things with it. All right, so I will end with this thought for you guys. When it comes to mixing HyperTone stain with finish, you're only limited by your imagination. Back to you.
All right. All right, Josh, that was fantastic. We ran a little bit long. So let's hammer through some of these questions really quick. There's some very different questions today versus normally what we get. So one of the questions was, how do I prep the floor prior to tinting the finish? Is any different in prepping the floor?
Nope, just like normal. On most of those, I was in the 180 range, just like you would abrade a floor normally.
What do I do if I'm using more than 1 gallon to tint a floor? So I think they're just looking for,
And that's a good thing too, to always make note of what you're doing. You want to make sure that you're using an exact measurement, whether it's in ounces or millimeters. Make notes of that. I would usually write it on the receipt or the bill, so that I would always have a copy of their invoice and what I did on that. If you have to recreate it, the same goes if you're making multiple gallons. Make sure that you're using that same 2%, 3%, whatever it is, and just replicating it over and over.
Yeah, technically, I think you're supposed to take those gallons and mix them all together. That way, if you have any kind of variance, it's uniform.
That's your finish, exactly.
You did mention it, but the question comes up all the time: can I roll it?
I have not had any success rolling it. It only seems to work in a pulling motion, T-bar or cut-in pad going with the grain. Rolling, we just have not figured out a good way to roll it yet.
Yeah, we get those stipples. Can I match competitive stain colors?
Yes. In fact, we've been working very hard on a list like that. I think we've already posted it up. If not, send us an email, because I have seen a finished PDF out there and it looks great. We'll make sure you get that.
2 more quick ones. Another great question that has not come up yet, which is, can I use Stain Glide when tinting my finish?
I wouldn't. There's really no reason for it, and I don't think it would help at all.
Yeah, it actually hurts it. It's not good for the finish. But anyway, and then can I use the HyperTone to tint competitive finishes? We always hate that question.
We don't make any money if you're doing that. We have seen some that have not worked well. And again, when you start mixing finishes, just like anything, you are completely on your own when you do that. So, why not?
I think it's a great question, really. I mean, we're I don't want to say we're new into the process. We've been doing it for 2 years now or more, and we're having success with our products, and we barely have the time to get all our T's crossed and I's dotted, to the nth degree. And we just don't take the time to test with other competitive finishes. And people change their formulas all the time, believe it or not. Okay, with that, I want to thank everybody. Josh, if you got the little Floor of the Month, Floor of the Year poster. So those of you that don't know, we're having a Floor of the Month, Floor of the Year contest. And basically, all you do is you post pictures on Instagram and you use the hashtag WoodFloorProud, and then you're automatically entered into the contest. There's 2 that we do. There's one that's a sport floor contest, and the other one is a commercial residential Floor of the Month contest. And we pick winners once a month. If you're the winner of the month, you get $250 worth of free basic coatings materials, and you are automatically entered into the Floor of the Year contest. Floor of the Year contest winners, if you're a sport guy, you get a custom painted taping machine and telegraphing arm. And if you're a residential commercial guy, you get the Festool T55 with the rail that goes along with it. And with that, I want to thank everybody for joining us today. Josh, great job. Everybody, thank you for joining us. And if you like these webinars, please let other people know to join us. We do these every other week. Thank you, Josh. Great job. Thanks, everybody.